Now before we get started, the creamsicle is the priority here. I've got my orange juice and my milk and vanilla that I made with vanilla beans and vodka in 2016. So, you could also use cream or half and half. My vanilla. Smells like vodka. Just give this a swirl. Ooh, that's high. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, we're ready.
Hello, you. Welcome to my channel.
Today on Ian's Provisions, I am going to teach you how to make a goat's milk soap using olive, coconut, and palm oil. This all-vegetable soap is mild and moisturizing and so good for sensitive skin. Okay, it's time. This seems like an overwhelming process, but it doesn't have to be. All you need to do is break it down into several simple steps. So the first step is to assemble your equipment and your ingredients. So for the equipment today, I have an 8-quart stainless steel stock pot, a 2-quart measuring cup, a long-handled stainless steel spoon, safety gloves, a respirator, and today I'm going to use an immersion blender to stir it. For your ingredients, you'll need distilled water and goat's milk. Ideally, it would be good to have a goat, but I don't have a goat right now, so I'll use goat's milk from the store. You need your 3 base oils, olive, palm, and coconut oil, and I've already measured out 4 ounces of lye crystals and 2 tablespoons of essential oil. This is optional, but I almost always use essential oil when I make my soap. Today, this is eucalyptus. The first thing I'm going to do is measure out 1 1/3 of a cup of goat's milk and 2/3 of a cup of distilled water. And now I'm going to refrigerate it. Now I'm going to liquefy my palm and my coconut oil. I am going to use this container later to mix the lye into the goat's milk and the water. But for now, because it has a handle and it's stainless steel, I can put it on the stovetop and I have measurements on the inside. So I'm going to melt down 1 1/4 of a cup of palm oil. Once this is melted down, I'll add the coconut oil. To the liquid palm oil, I'll now add 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil. I've got a 2-cup measuring line on here, so I'm just going to add coconut oil to the 2-cup measuring line. Oh, that's real firm. Okay, now to this, I'm going to add 2 cups of olive oil. So you're going to have 4 cups of liquid oil once you're finished. Finished. This now is going in the big pot, and I'm going to wash this and use it to mix the goat's milk and water with the lye. Now that we're prepared, we've assembled our ingredients and measured them out, which, by the way, I forgot the mold and the thermometer. You'll need both of those. So now we are going to start the process. Again, it is breaking this process up into very simple, small steps. So the first step is your water baths. Now you'll need either 2 basins or 2 sinks to do your water baths, and it's so easy. All there is to it is you make this side hot, hot, and this side cold, cold. The next part is to heat your oils. Now, you don't want to go over around 110. So now we'll turn off our heat. We're gonna keep this oil set aside and go put our mask on and mix the lye with the water and the milk. Okay, the next step is to pour the water and the milk into this larger measuring container, and I'm gonna go outside. I could stand by an open window, but it is better if you mix the lye into the water and milk outside. And I'm going to put on my mask and wear my gloves to do that. Just a little side note on lye, it is both dangerous and it is caustic, meaning that it will burn you if it comes into direct contact with your skin. This is the reason why many people are hesitant to make soap at home. It's not that we need to be afraid of it, just respect the ingredients and use the necessary precautions to do it, and it'll be okay. Here's this. Put this on. Safe now. My gloves. And my spoon. Okay, come on. This mask is totally ineffective. You want to stand upwind when you're mixing your lye into the water so the fumes don't blow in your face. I'm going to sprinkle this in and stir. And you will notice after a bit that the milk, goat's milk, and the water is going to turn a bright golden yellow color. Like so. Back inside. Now that I am back inside, I'm going to put the lime milk and water mixture into the cold water bath because the next step is to regulate the temperatures. We want both the lye water milk mixture and the oils to be at around 98 to 100 degrees, and that is where the water baths come into play. See, it's gotten a little thick and it's curdled a little bit. That's okay. We are right at about 105 to 110. The oils are measuring right at about 98. That's exactly where we want it to be. I'm going to set these because it's right where we want it to be, and it's going to take a little bit of time for the lye to cool down. I'm going to set that one in the hot water bath for just a little bit. It really takes very little time. With this amount of liquid, less than 2 minutes for these to come to equal temperatures. Just over 100. Okay, I'm going to take it out and check this one. Okay, that's a good place for that one. We're good. Even though this is a little bit clumpy, I'm going to slowly pour it into my oil. Be so careful because it's going to splatter. This is not ideal, but it happens, and it's okay. Now, you want to get out your whisk or your immersion blender and mix for that it is thickened on the immersion blender, and it's time to pour. I'll take that off. I've got my towel here and my mold. I'll pour the soap in. Look how pretty, and it smells so good. Oh yeah, that's pretty. You can get your spoon. I got my spoon. Because this is all the way to the top, I've got another little mold, and you can use glass, you can use anything really for a mold. Stay away from aluminum. But I'm just gonna spoon a little bit of this into here so that when I cover it with my cardboard, it doesn't it doesn't get all over the cardboard. Now I'm gonna top this little one with cardboard and this one with cardboard, and I'm gonna cover it. You wanna cover it and put it out of reach of any peekers, including yourself, for 48 hours. And then we will carve it and let it cure. Now that the soap has cured for around 48 hours, I'm going to unmold it and then cut it into smaller bars. Using silicone makes it really easy to unmold your soap. If you find that it's sticking to the sides of your mold, and it is here a little bit, you can put it in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes and that will help. Ah, yay! Now you don't need to use a ruler to cut your bars, but I'm going to today because I want fairly consistent size bars. So I'm going to measure about 1.25 inches. When you use the cold process of making soap, your bars won't shrink very much versus when you cook the soap. So I'm gonna measure 1.25 inches, and by doing that, I have my ruler on top, as you can see. And so I'm just gonna make little ticks in the soap every 1.25 inches. So 1.25, 2.5, 3 3/4, 5, 6.25, 7.5, 8 3/4, and I'm gonna have a little over 1.25 inches on this last one. So now just slice your bar, and these are good size bars. Yeah, that's a good size soap bar. Smells good. Oh, look at that. Jumbo. Now, because your bars are still fairly soft, you can lay them on a piece of wax paper or a piece of plastic or just a tea towel and turn them over once a day for a few days. I also remember that I had this little mold. I did put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes, so it should come out pretty easily. Oh yeah, look how pretty. And then after 3 days, you can set them on the cookie rack. Now you will want to let them cure for at least 6 weeks because you want the lye to neutralize and the bars will harden when you do. You can let them cure for years, but probably about after a year, your scent, if you use essential oils, your scent is going to fade. So at least 6 weeks, and they will be ready to use or ready to sell or ready to give away. I hope that you have enjoyed this process with me and that you will be encouraged and take courage and make soap at home.